দাঁড়া দাঁড়া, এখন স্টার্ট করিস না, দাঁড়া। এই শুভাঙ্গী, স্টার্ট কর।
हाँ तो सब लोग कैमरा ऑन करेगा तब ना। स्टार्ट करे भगवान, बैकग्राउंड चेंज है। देवशीष स्टार्ट करे।
रिकॉर्डिंग चालू
बैकग्राउंड हो गया तुम लोग का, रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट है। Hello. Today we will have a discussion on the topic authentication, and we are from group 8. I am Shubhangi Shrestha and my role is 45. I'm going to speak on introduction to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity refers to set of techniques which are used to protect the integrity of networks, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. We know that we use cybersecurity because we want to prevent cyber attacks, data breaches, and identity theft, and can aid in risk management. The word of cybersecurity revolves around the industry standard of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are maintained and controlled by authentication and authorization. These are the two pillars of the cybersecurity. Now, what is authorization? What is authentication? Authentication provides the access control for the system by checking to see if a user credential match the credentials in a database of authorized users or in a data authentication servers. It enables organizations to keep their networks secure by permitting only authenticated users or the process to gain access to their protected resources. It assures secure processes, and enterprise information security. This may include computer system, network database, website, and other network-based applications or services. Thank you.
अरे तुषार
হ্যালো।
দেবাশিস, ওই দেবাশিস, পুরো রেকর্ডিংটা পাঠিয়ে দিস তো আমাকে।
ভিডিও অফ হয়ে গেল তো, ভিডিও অন।
Tushar, your voice is too low.
হ্যালো।
Bring the speaker in front of your mouth and speak.
আরে সামনেই আছে, এই ওটা কাট করে আমার মাঝখান দিয়ে স্টার্ট করবে, ঠিক আছে? স্টার্ট করছি আমি, স্টার্ট। হ্যাঁ, এই স্টার্ট, ভিডিও অন কর, ভিডিও অন কর।
वीडियो ऑन करेंगे तो बोलना, स्टार्ट करना,
हाँ ठीक है।
बोलिए।
সুরজিৎ, তো ভিডিও অন কর। Hello, I am Tushar Kantimanna. My roll number is 46. My part is how does authentication works. During authentication, credentials are provided by the user are compared to those on file a database of authorized user information either on the local operating system server or through an authentication server. If the credential enters match those on file and the unauthorized entity in a authentication, we use the resource the user.
होगा आज हम लोग का कंप्लीट।
তোর কি কাউকে দেখে হাসি পাচ্ছে?
हाँ
তুই একটা কাজ
पता नहीं।
কর, তুই অন্য কোনো ট্যাবটা খুলে মানে ক্যামেরাটা অন রাখ, অন্য একটা ট্যাব খুলে সেখান থেকে রিড কর, মানে কারোর দিকে তাকাস না।
সায়নটা ক্যামেরা অন করছে অফ করছে, ঠিক আছে?
আরে তুষার শোন
আরে তুই দেখিস না, না অন্য
শোন।
ট্যাবে চলে যা।
শোন আরে তুই এরকম রিডিং পাচ্ছিস কেন ভাই? একটু আস্তে আস্তে বল, তো মনে হচ্ছে যে দেখে দেখে বলছিস।
ঠিক আছে, দাঁড়া স্টার্ট কর
এবার শুভাঙ্গী রেগে যাবে। ঠিক করে পড় তুষার।
আমি অন্য ট্যাবে যাচ্ছি, ঠিক আছে?
হ্যাঁ একদম।
ভিডিওটা অন কর। Hello, my name is Tushar Kantimanna. My roll number is 46. My part is how does authentication works. During authentication, credentials provided by the user are compared to those on file in a database of authorized user information, either on the local operating system server or through an authentication server. If the credential enters match those on file and the authorized entity is authorized to use the resources, the user is granted access. User permissions determine which resource the user gain access to and also any other access rights that are linked to the user or not, such as during which hours the user can access the resources and how much the resources of the user is allowed to consume and all. And what?
Hello, this is Shan Manna. My roll number is 47, and I'll be discussing about why authentication is important in cybersecurity. So, authentication actually enables organization to keep their network secure by permitting only authenticated users or processes to gain access to their protected resources. This may include computer systems, networks, databases, websites, and other network-based applications or servers. So once the user or the process is authenticated, the user or process is usually subjected to an authorization process to determine whether the authenticated entity should be permitted access to the specific protected resources or system. A user can be authenticated but not be given access to a specific resource if that user was not granted permission to access it. So there are basically two terms which are important in case of authentication in cybersecurity. So one is authentication and other is authorization. Both look similar, but they are two distinguished and interchangeable entity. And this authentication process always comes before the authorization process.
Hello, my name is Sanjukta Das. My roll number is 48 and I will be discussing about the types of authentication. There are 5 types of authentication. First is the multi-factor authentication, which is the short form of MFA. Multi-factor authentication scenario involves the use of password, after which the user is sent a verification code to their device. It involves at least two different kinds of authentication factors to elevate security levels. The second factor is the biometric authentication. In this, a symbol of fingerprint or iris or face scan is stored in a dedicated database to compare it with a user's input on a demand. It is gaining popularity due to the ease of use and customer satisfaction benefits. The user simply doesn't have to remember or reset anything when it comes to this type of authentication. The third type of authentication is token-based authentication. Token-based authentication is commonly used methodology where the user is issued a unique token upon being verified. With this unique token, the user can then access the relevant service. This privilege is active till the token expires. JSON Web Token is a commonly used token-based authentication standard today.
Hello, I am Shubhadipta Chaudhary. My class roll number is 49, and I will be discussing about some more types of authentication. Certificate-based authentication. It is a protocol that promotes the use of digital certificates to get the job done. These certificates can be used to identify and verify the user or the end device before granting access permissions to the user or the end device. Users also like this kind of authentication as it doesn't require further authentication once the digital certificate has been issued. The next type of authentication, we are more familiar with it, that password-based authentication. We use password in this for authentication, quite general. It is the proven and tested password authentication which is still being used by thousands of organizations worldwide. So coming up to the conclusion that any computing system can and should have authentication. Hardware, appliances, networks, servers, individual workstations, etc. So in reality, many devices and computing systems have weak or ineffective authentication, or authentication is not properly configured by the administrators. That may result in severe security risks. So all about authentication. Thank you. Yes, sir.
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে
কত মিনিট হয়েছে রে?
तुषार और शान को तो बाप रे जो हंसी आया है, जीवन भर का हंसी।
এটা এডিট করতে পারবি তো দেবাশিস?
তুই গোটা ভিডিওটা পাঠিয়ে দে।
না, এডিট করে পাঠা।
না না, গোটাটা পাঠাক না।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আরে ওই মাঝখানে একটা পার্ট কাটতে হবে ওই জায়গাটা ঝামেলা হচ্ছে।
আরে শুভাঙ্গীর বলার পর তার মধ্যে কাটতে হবে,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ওই জায়গাটা কাটতে হবে।
ঠিক আছে চল।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে,
টাটা।
টাটা।